Hi, friends. Mike Allen here. I wanted to provide some information about my first book, Not Another Recovery Success Story, or Is It? Um, I started writing that book in 2021, tail end of 2021, when I was still in rehab, my last stint in rehab in Wasilla, Alaska. It was part of an assignment. I believe the assignment was called Step One, not to be confused with the first step of Alcoholics Anonymous, which is we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable. Although there was a lot of that um, sort of thing involved in that assignment. And so I tackled it head on, took it very seriously. It took me, I don't know, probably a couple weeks to finish. And it basically required you to just write it all down, like everything, with the hopes that it could shed some light on how the hell things went so wrong. And it worked. It was very effective. I didn't hold back, and I just sort of went back to the beginning, to my childhood, and from some of my earliest memories to early adulthood, which is when alcohol became a very serious problem. So for me, it was about kind of looking back at some of my earliest memories. And for me, I dealt with some pretty severe mental health issues from a pretty early age, starting at about 11. It was pretty horrific bouts of OCD, which led to kind of crippling bouts of anxiety, which I ended up getting treated for and was able to get things turned around. But again, kind of the point of the assignment was looking at not just so much your current predicament, which is addiction, alcoholism, but trying to determine all of the things that may or may not have contributed to it. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I was starting what would become my first book. I didn't go on to finish it until I was out of rehab, and I guess I didn't really even think to until I had some time to think about it. And once the cobwebs had been cleared a little bit, I kind of revisited that step one assignment and thought maybe there was something there that could be helpful to others that may have gone through the same sorts of things. And I was at work one day, and a thought that entered my mind after all the smoke had cleared and after I'd gotten out of rehab and gotten back on my feet and had a job and everything. I was trying to pinpoint what alcoholism actually was. Like, what the hell is it? What was it, or is it for me? And I came up with the answer of, it was the unintentional abandonment of my own humanity. And I thought, wow, that's sort of profound. And from there, it made me kind of go back and think, maybe I should turn this into a book and see where it goes. And maybe, if I'm lucky, a handful of people will be able to relate, and maybe it could be helpful. So I spent about the next year and a half, 2 years, um, finishing it up and polishing it the best I could. And it's pretty grim in parts, but as was the case with the assignment, the point was to be just fearless and honest and paint a very vivid picture of what the hell happened, how I could have fallen so unbelievably hard. And I don't leave out anything. And I think anyone who's been in rehab knows what those assignments are like. It's just, you can either tap dance around it and not be honest, and, fear ugliness, feelings of horror are often the reasons for people not wanting to divulge everything. But the beauty of actually following through with the assignment, if you can get yourself to do that, as painful as it is it does paint a pretty clear picture of how everything went so wrong, which is kind of the first step you have to take if you want to actually turn things around. So that's kind of what my first book is. Upon its completion, I realized that I had kind of essentially just completed my fourth step, which was we made a fearless moral inventory of ourselves. I had no idea that I was doing that, I guess, when I was writing it. But after it was all said and done, I was like, you know what? I think I actually just properly, for once, completed a step, one of the steps, the fourth step. I kind of would lie to myself and say, yeah, I've made an inventory of myself. I know all the things that I've done wrong, but I'd never had gone as deep as that. Or, when it comes to making amends, I would make like one and think that I completed that step, which is ridiculous, I know. But it's just evidence that I was never really ready to tackle any of my issues. But once you start doing that, once you start having the willingness to do that, and frankly, once you start having the courage to do any of it, a lot of it starts to make sense. And you're able to start clawing your way back to some degree of normalcy. So anyway, that's a somewhat brief description of my first book. Again, it's called Not Another Recovery Success Story, or is it? I'll include the links to that in the description. You can listen to the audiobook for free on my website or on Audible. I'll include all of the links in the description. if you care to support me in this cause, you're more than welcome. You can buy the paperback on Amazon, but I'm not really looking to get rich here or anything. I'd much rather you listen to that audiobook for free if you think it's something that could be helpful to you. So I will include those links in the description again, and if reading the story of how my life went to hell in a handbasket and how I was able to turn it around, if that sounds like it could be helpful to you, then I hope you will entertain the idea of giving it some attention. So thank you very much. Take care.